Friends, welcome to youtube.com/oblique Dr. Ved channel. In this channel, we are presenting lectures in veterinary science and animal husbandry. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head. Here we discuss important endocrine disease, that is diabetes mellitus in dogs and cats. In part 2, we discuss various types of diabetes mellitus in dogs and cats, some of the epidemiological aspects that is important for a clinician, and pathogenesis of important endocrine disease diabetes mellitus in dogs and cats. We have already seen the etiology of diabetes in dog, primary and secondary. Here, the types of diabetes commonly encountered under field practices are two. One is the beta cell deficiency that we have already discussed in primary diabetes mellitus etiology, and second is insulin antagonism, that is secondary diabetes mellitus. The beta cells deficiency means destruction of beta cells of Langerhans. That is observed in majority of the cases of dogs. So this etiology is important for us. When there is destruction or degeneration of beta cells, the dog is unable to produce important hormone insulin. The causes of beta cells degeneration are congenital defects, inflammation of pancreas, pancreatitis, and autoimmunity against pancreas endocrine cells. Friends, in a previous slide we have seen beta cells deficiency. Now in this slide we see insulin antagonism, that certain things act against insulin, and that is the secondary diabetes mellitus. The insulin antagonism is generally seen in distress conditions of bitches. The common insulin antagonists are progesterone hormone, growth hormone, and cortisol. And we have already seen video on Cushing syndrome, that is also a insulin antagonist. Cushing syndrome is nothing but hyperadrenocorticism. We have already prepared a video on this. So Cushing syndrome also invites insulin. In the introductory section, I told you that it is a complicated metabolic disorder. Generally, insulin deficiency or diabetes is not occurring as a single entity. So it is mixed with some other diseases or disorders of the body. So Cushing syndrome is one that invites diabetes mellitus. Types of diabetes in cats. The classification is somewhat different, and this classification of types of diabetes in cats is at par with the diabetes mellitus in the human beings. So there are two types. One is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, called IDDM. Here the diabetes is dependent on insulin. This is called as diabetes mellitus type 1. The other type is the non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. It is called as NIDDM. This is diabetes mellitus type 2. Now we see little bit detail about these things, type 1 and type 2. Diabetes in cat. One type is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus IDDM. Here there is mainly insulin deficiency. So we have seen in a primary diabetes mellitus it is the same. It is called as diabetes mellitus type 1. This is similar to human diabetes type 1. Here insulin deficiency means failure of beta cells to produce insulin hormone, and this is caused by beta cells destruction by islet specific amyloidosis or chronic pancreatitis. So this etiology is commonly observed under the field condition. We have seen the etiology and other things as per the theoretical, but most commonly observed in practice is this. The other type of diabetes in cat is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, NIDDM. This is mostly caused by insulin antagonism that causes insulin resistance, and this is popularly called as a diabetes mellitus type 2. It is similar to human diabetes type 2. Generally, practically in the field it is observed it is caused by obesity. This obesity leads to carbohydrate intolerance. Here the one condition we have seen in type 2 is insulin resistance. What is the meaning of this insulin resistance? In this, the body produces insulin, but the tissues are unable to use it effectively. Insulin is there, but tissues are unable to utilize it. Pancreas will try to compensate more and more insulin to transport the glucose from extracellular to cells, especially liver, muscle and adipose tissue. Insulin is there, but this insulin is unable to transport the glucose from extracellular into the cell. Especially target cells are liver cells, muscle cells and adipose tissue. The result is glucose will accumulate in the bloodstream, results hyperglycemia. Friends, in this slide, we will see some of the epidemiological aspects of clinical relevance. The incidence is 0.3 to 0.5% of the total canine patients, and day by day this incidences of diabetes mellitus increasing. In human being it is considered as a lifestyle disease, so also increases in the dogs. Diabetes mellitus most commonly occur in middle-aged dogs and cats, generally observed at 8 to 9 years of age. Among the dogs, females are affected more, twice than males. In cat, it is observed in obesity condition especially. Obese males are more commonly affected than females. The diabetes mellitus is observed in all breeds of dogs, but certain breeds are more susceptible, such as miniature poodles, dachshunds, schnauzers, cane terriers, and beagles. These are some of the breeds. They are more susceptible, and it is observed that small breeds are more susceptible than large breeds. Now we see the pathogenesis of diabetes mellitus. How this insulin deficiency cause difficulty in transport of glucose from extracellular to the cells, and how it causes hyperglycemia, and finally serious condition diabetic ketoacidosis. The carbohydrate, particularly the blood glucose concentration, is controlled by a balanced action of anabolic and catabolic hormones. That is universal truth. And we know that catabolic hormones are glucagon, cortisol, catecholamines, and growth hormone. Against that, only one anabolic hormone, that is insulin. This insulin and other catabolic hormones work together in a balanced way to maintain normoglycemia, normal glucose level of the blood. Insulin, either the relative or absolute deficiency, causes reduced utilization of glucose by the tissue. Not only that, reduced utilization of glucose, amino acids and fatty acids by tissues, predominantly liver tissues, muscles and adipose tissues. Continue with the pathogenesis. Failure to utilize glucose by the target tissue, liver, muscle and adipose tissue. Result is increased glucose level of the blood, hyperglycemia. When renal threshold glucose reabsorption exceeds, the osmotic diuresis starts, and that results loss of glucose in urine, condition called as a glycosuria, important for the diagnosis. Along with glucose, there is loss of electrolytes and water also. Loss of glucose, electrolyte and waters are important, that causes clinical signs, so important for the pathogenesis point of view. The glycosuria causes osmotic diuresis, and that results more formation and frequency of urine cause polyuria, and result is excessive thirst, that is polydipsia. Continue the pathogenesis of diabetes mellitus. Polyuria causes polydipsia. and this compensatory polydipsia increase thirst and animal take more water that prevents a dehydration. So no problem. Now loss of blood glucose results catabolism of fat and muscles. We already know when glucose is less, the body require energy and that body derive the energy from other sources than carbohydrate. So body start utilizing body fats and muscles for energy. The result is weight loss. Excessive catabolism of fat cause production of ketone bodies. This is a serious condition now. And that results a condition called diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA. This diabetic ketoacidosis is a more serious condition and more complication of diabetes mellitus. Continue with the pathogenesis. The diabetic ketoacidosis suffering dog is unable to maintain adequate water intake. So such dog become rapidly dehydrated due to uncontrolled osmotic diuresis, loss of water through urine. DKA, that is diabetic ketoacidosis, has a harmful effect and on almost all organs of the systems of the body, and that produce a simultaneous disorders and may cause mortality in dogs. The dehydration along with acidosis, ketoacidosis, it is a serious situation and it requires emergency treatment. If timely emergency treatment is given, clinician can able to survive the dog. Otherwise, there is mortality. Friends, I have described diabetes mellitus in a simplest way. Share this information to veterinarians and veterinary students. Subscribe the channel to promote the channel. Press like button if you like. Thank you very much for observing this video. Next time we'll come with clinical findings, diagnosis and treatment of diabetes mellitus. Thanks.